muscular system is a little bit different from the skeletal system, but I'm still going to go through it now. When you're talking about the muscular system, it's all of the muscles in the body that work in coordination with each other between the skeletal system and the nervous system. Not all muscles actually deal with movement of the body, specifically when you think about it. Muscles, some of them move portions of the body, but not necessarily you moving through space. That's the skeletal muscle system, is you moving through space. There's also smooth and cardiac muscle, which deal with generally movement within your body. So muscles cause movement, help maintain posture, and produce heat. Skeletal muscles are going to create body movement through contractility, extensibility, and elasticity. Smooth muscles, slow contraction with greater or can have a slow contraction that don't really fatigue. They're around internal organs, especially in the digestive tract, the respiratory tract, the urinary tract, and the vascular system, so blood vessels. Cardiac muscle is in the heart. That's the only place it exists. And then tendons help attach skeletal muscle to the skeleton. This is what a skeletal muscle looks like. There's a variety of different parts of it. A fascia is a dense type of connective tissue that surrounds muscles, and then each one is broken down into smaller bits, which is broken down into smaller bits. Each fiber of the muscle receives its own nerve impulses and contracts individually. It uses glycogen as a fuel for energy, which is one of the reasons why you need to build up glycogen if you're going to be doing some sort of long distance running or something else along those lines. As I mentioned before, there's skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle. Skeletal muscle has these things called striations in them, and when you think about muscle, that's what you think about when you think about muscle. Cardiac muscle has striations and these branched cells that allow it to contract more forcefully, and it has things called intercalated discs. Intercalated, that's this. Think turkey, intercalated. Not intercalated, intercalated. Intercalated discs make it so that the muscle fibers stay closer together and don't rip themselves apart. And they're also striated. Smooth muscle is involuntary, surrounds different types of organs, makes it so that your stomach can churn, your peristalsis can happen throughout the whole entire digestive system, that you can restrict or expand your airways and your blood vessels. When you're looking at different types of muscles, generally skeletal muscle is named either for what the thing does or where it exists. So, or kind of what it looks like. So if you have something like your biceps brachii, sep is generally going to mean the head of a muscle. Bicep means that there are two of them, and brachii means on your arm. So biceps brachii is a two-headed muscle that lives on your arm, as opposed to your triceps brachii, which is going to be on the back of your arm and it has three heads. So these are these different types of things that you may potentially need to know. Some other weird things that you may not necessarily think about. Sartorius is a muscle that goes like this, named after the way, so sartorius means men clothing, or clothing maker. But it's that in that way based on the way that people who are stitching clothes together would sit. It also tends to follow the inseam, so it still vaguely makes sense today. If you're making clothes, then you need to know this type of measurement. But it goes from your hip to the inside portion of your knee. The reason why you can't call your biceps brachii just your biceps is because you have more than one. The biceps femoris is also a two-headed muscle that lives on the back of your leg. So some other different types of things that you might potentially need to know about when you're looking at the muscles, just in general. A lot of the neck muscles, as I said before, they kind of tell you where they are or what they do, what they look like. So sternocleidomastoid is one that's called out right here. It attaches the sternum to the clavicle, To the mastoid process. So those three things, sternocleidomastoid, tell you exactly where it actually is located, or tibialis anterior, or anterior. It's close to the tibia, which is why it's called tibialis. There's some other weird ones that you are that have strange names. You'll see references to gastric, so gastric having to do with stomach. Uh, but it also, muscle portions can also be referred to as bellies. So there's the digastric, which has two bellies and it's underneath the chin, or the gastrocnemius, which literally means the stomach of the leg. So that's your calf muscle. And vaguely, if you end up looking at it, it kind of looks like person's protruding belly that is sitting on the back of your leg, gastrocnemius. So there's a variety of these different types of things that you may see that are referring to the shape of it. So, you know, something along those lines where the so they refer to the shape of it rather than its function. You'll see adductors or abductors. There's a variety of other different types of terms that you will see in your arm muscles. So your flexors versus extenders. So flex versus extend. You know, having to do with the movement of the muscle or where they happen to be on your body itself in relationship to different types of land points on your body itself. These are things to keep in mind while you're looking at the muscles.